Hey y'all, what's going on? Happy Monday. This will be my recap and review for Married to Medicine, Season 10, Episode 2, Heard It Through the Grapevine, and Episode 3, Pamper Party Crasher. Please like the video on your way in. If you're rewatching this, shout outs to you all and the replay gang. Please comment below. Let's keep the conversation going. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications. Don't forget to check the description box below for all of my links and all of that good stuff, which are actually scrolling on the bottom of the screen now. But I do apologize for my tardiness with episode 2's review. We'll go over the highlights, you know how we like to do. I was traveling last week, and by the time I actually could sit down to do this video, it was like too late. So here I am. Thank you guys for always being so patient with me. But let's get into it, y'all. Let us get into it. Where are my notes? Okay. So as far as episode 2 is concerned, first of all, I'm gonna need Dr. Heavenly to keep her wig on her head. Like, I'm not understanding why the wig is always coming off the head. Like, oh, I need her to really get somebody. You were down in Atlanta. You can get somebody to melt that lace down, girl. Like, come on now. Phaedra and Quad. Phaedra was, up until episode 3, I should say, was the only person that was really in communication, in contact with Quad. So it was not a surprise that we finally see Quad meeting up with somebody in this episode. She's keeping her new man nameless, and she's not really divulging too much information about him right now. And am I upset? No, I'm not bothered by all. I'm not bothered by that at all, because like she said, it is still new. Like she said, it is still it's still new, it's still fresh, and all you need to know right now is that, yes, am I speaking with somebody? Do I have a friend? Do I have a social somebody? And we're just gonna keep. I don't mind that. What I mind is people coming on here and playing faces and act that person doesn't exist at all, or they don't know what we're nothing, or we have nothing to go on whatsoever with it. That's where I'm having it, or making it seem like it's so we're overbeing. We're meaning like the audience, meaning like the viewers, us watching, are overstepping when we are learning about their lives and learning about what's going on in their lives, because at the end of the day, that's what these types of reality shows are for. It's for us to see like into the window of these people's lives. That's why you're putting it on a public platform. I mean, am I? Like, I don't think I am, but okay. She also lets us know that she was cited and she refused the field sobriety tests, but it's all been nipped in the bud. It's all been taken care of, so we don't need to visit that again. And Quad is very seasoned at this, because she knew exactly how to answer that question without discrediting her, without giving too much information. She kept it very cute, very, but didn't dance around the question at the same time. And I think that's why her and someone like Phaedra get along so well, because Phaedra does that same kind of thing too. Dr. G and Sweet Tea. I served my man on real plates. But was that supposed to be a dig at Quad, y'all? Y'all let me know. I don't know. I wrote that down because I'm like, I don't know why that is something that needed to be said, but okay. We find out that he's paying for 90% of the wedding. She's overwhelmed, and he really wasn't being receptive. And I really don't feel bad, because I really think that the writing was on the wall and you really ignored it. So read the Carfax, like read the Google reviews, read any type of anything that you can get on a person. Like, get that, because then you wind up looking like this. You wind up looking like this, where you expect someone to change who hasn't changed clearly from the last person, who isn't going to change, who is clearly set in their ways. Like, I just that really, really bothered me, that she's almost expecting him to have responded differently in this situation. I feel like his response, his reaction, his lack of sympathy is, well, actually, I should say empathy. It's his wedding too. It was not alarming for me at all, because this has been the same type of person, and the same things that Quad has been saying all this time are only starting to meet the surface with you. Like, I'm surprised you must have been seeing this, but it wasn't so much of a problem until now, when you're tired. You're sick of running around like a chicken with your head cut off. It wasn't a problem then, or it wasn't an issue. His ways weren't an issue when you seemed to want to come on the show to stunt, or when it just didn't bother you, when it wasn't a concern. It wasn't an issue. I can never get down with stuff like this. Can't, because the answers are right there the whole time. Dr. Jackie and her new doctor, she lets us know that her last patient, she's not seeing nobody no later than 2 p.m. And I was like, you know what? Good for you. Good for you, because we know that Dr. Jackie is a workaholic. We know that she loves her job. She loves to take care of her body and their sister in Atlanta. So this, if you've been watching for the last 10 seasons, you will know that at one point it seemed like she slept at her house, or she slept at work and would only go and visit her house. Like, that's what it seemed like for a while. So she's actually enjoying the lighter schedule too, which was even more surprising for me. She was the doctor for Jude, and we saw them. I wasn't surprised by that, because again, like I said, she freaking sees everybody in Atlanta. Like, it's insane. I think she was even on their show too, I want to say, like, for like a little snippet, because when I was watching Love After Lockup the other day, the Brat Loves Judy, or whatever that show, came on afterwards, and I seen Dr. Jackie were there too. We love a cross star freaking pop up. We love a crossover. Toya and Eugene. Toya, she started a wine club, and I thought that was awesome, because I feel like Toya a lot of times is scrutinized for her not having a job, or her not having some type of income other than the show, obviously. But she started a wine club, and I was like, that's very, very on brand. Like, this, it's been a long time coming. I'm happy for her. And the boys, they're growing up. They're growing up, so they need to kind of have some type of conversations with them, if you know what I mean. So we do dive more into that later on as well. What other major things happened in the episode? Oh, Sweetie and her friend, who she met on a younger women who date older men Facebook group. I don't really think that's weird, because I see all types of groups like that all the time on Facebook. But yeah, I was just like, she makes it very, very easy for these women to make fun of her. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, y'all. I'm not saying that at all. But she makes it very, very easy for them to clown her. What I don't agree with, though, is like the body shaming and all of these type of unnecessary comments, mainly coming from like Phaedra, and Toya even made some comments about her body too. And it's just like very, very unnecessary, if you ask me, because last time I checked, the majority of y'all up there have probably gotten something done at one point in time. So I don't really understand why we need to make mention of people's appearance like that at every chance we get. Like, okay, we know that the girl doesn't have a lot of booty in the back. Like, okay, like moving on, right? Oh, hey, Denise Jennings. Thank you for joining. Hey, Harold. How are you doing today on this fine Monday? Thank you for coming through. Listen to me bump my gums a little bit about these medicine wives and these folks on here. Thank y'all. But I just feel like we don't need to keep harping on the same points. Like I said, she don't have a lot of butt in the back, and some of us just don't have a lot of butt in the back. Like that's just how it is. But again, I feel like she just makes it very, very easy for them to laugh at her and stuff like that. So, and on this type of show, they're going to laugh at that. Like they're going to that's just what this whole that's a machine that pushes this along. Like if you give them some type of something, they're going to take it and run with it and use it against you or stuff. So I'm gonna need her to build that up quite a bit. But do you think she will get work done? If she hangs around them for long enough, I do, just because that's just kind of the nature of the game. With a lot of people succumb to that when they get in front of these cameras or they start seeing the other ladies and stuff like that. I do think not saying that that's right again or wrong or anything like that. At the end of the day, you could do whatever you want with your body. But yeah, I do think that with time, as she starts to solidify her role in the group, that I wouldn't be surprised to see her do something. And it's not me saying that I think she needs it or anything like that. I just know a lot of times that people will gravitate towards doing it. It don't even have to mean like a whole freaking 360 transformation or anything like that. But yeah, she might want to get some veneers going, or she might want to like, oh yeah, these crow's feet, they wasn't here last week. Maybe I want to get that. Like I could definitely see her doing stuff like that. Just because I know a lot of them do at times. I am quite all right in yourself. More interested in Married to Medicine than that other show, that's for sure. I mean, yeah, that other show definitely, and I said it in my review, that we're starting to see the direction that we're going with this, and it really, really breaks my heart because I was really hoping that we were going to be shying away from certain topics, certain types of vibes this season, but it doesn't really seem like that's the case. And it seems like the newest person is right with the ish in that regard too. So yeah, that's where we are with that. Toya's wine party, Eugene gave her some really good advice, if you ask me, because like I said before, the women do tend to shade Toya like over the course of these past 10 seasons. I feel like every chance they get, I mean mostly like quiet at times. I know Heavenly has said some things at times. Even Jackie said some things at times about Toya not working and stuff like that. The only thing I will say is I don't believe in anybody not using things to their advantage. Like, it's no surprise expensive these days. Like, we need to be making more money to be able to even freaking do just the normal stuff that we've been doing for forever. At this point, you can't even freaking, it's just that, make a whole separate video about that, the cost of things. And with that being said, you need to be making even more money these days, it seems like. So I believe someone like Toya should definitely be using her platform to her advantage this whole time. Whether that be making doing type of influencer collaborations, whether that means a wine club in this case, just something you should get into those things, even like in a passive way, passive streams of income. I never agreed with her not using that to her advantage, no. But I wasn't about to sit here and keep dragging her on it like everybody else, because I do also know that there's people in the world that we're good. We got the roof over our head, lights on. You know, my partner makes enough money, like, that are just cool with not working or whatever, or they don't need to or whatever. So I see it both ways. And I do think this will allow her to not be demeaned in that manner from these women now. So I think that is definitely something good. And I think it was really, really good that he gave her that piece of advice, because he's been right there with her this whole time, hearing the same comments and stuff like that, and being slandered a lot of times right with her. So that's awesome, if you ask me. And this is coming from somebody who's not even like, I don't dislike Toya, but it's not like I'm like some Toya stan or something like that, but I just have to give credit where credit is due. Sweet Tea felt as though the women were being mean and rude during the dress try on. And I actually said this before, where I was like, they were too concerned about her body and stuff like that, rather than like giving her solid, good girlfriend advice. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Phaedra is not a good girlfriend, if you ask me. Someone like Phaedra is not a good girlfriend to anybody, if you ask me. But more so in this case, she was now your husband, I should say. She's been his friend, quote unquote, for however many years, 20 years, whatever she wants to say. That's not your friend. Like, you can't be because she's going to have one, I guess, his best interest, or she's always going to be putting a storyline or putting herself in a position to create a storyline off of your back, for in this case. They're making a fool out of Sweet Tea on the internet right now, particularly pertaining to what we'll see on next week's episode. Yeah, you were absolutely correct. And I feel like she's came on the show and she should have had her stuff down packed a little bit better, because she should have known people were going to tear her a new one. And people being, first of all, these two, she's gonna get him them, then she's gonna get her from the audience or whatever. So I hope she was ready. I hope she wasn't just taking this as like a way to stunt on his ex, or a way to thinking that it was just going to be all sunshine and flowers coming into this. I really hope she took that into consideration, because she's not. Phaedra is here to get domestic. Exactly. So if I was her, I wouldn't be trying to cultivate a relationship with her. And even in that sit down in the final scene of that, it was just giving very much. I'm trying to think of like someone who reminds me of like another movie or something. I gotta think. I'm posting like a booty ball. She just reminds me. She's just playing a certain very, very Phaedra-esque role in this whole thing, and I'm like, do not trust her. Do not think that she is going to have your back, and especially if she didn't know that by now, she should definitely know that after episode 3. Since I'm new to your channel, thank you so much. New topic: who is your favorite on Married to My Son season? Okay, so it's crazy because this is my first time even reviewing or watching this season as it came out. I actually got caught up on Married during the break this time. I watched a bit of season 9, and people always talk about certain things, and I was like, okay, I'm sick of being left out. Like, clearly I'm missing out on something. My best friend kept telling me to watch it. Like, everybody kept telling me to watch it. And I finally did. And honestly, my favorite, well, one, I will say, I think they definitely bring Mariah back. I just like they need to, especially because I see how they're trying to do quad. I really want them to bring Mariah back. Be like cool. And I will as I really like Heavenly. Does a lot of stuff, and I really like Jackie at times. She also would be things and Dr. Jackie. So it would definitely be a cross up between those two. Yeah, it would definitely have to be a cross up between either Dr. Jackie or Dr. Heavenly. I mean, but I also like, what? Denise, you're getting me thinking. Gosh. I definitely think it would be a cross up between those two. Yes, I think, especially in this case, she's very much needed. And we could have also gathered that too on the fact that I get this is supposed to be like a feel good season, or they were trying to give us a rundown of the previous 10 season or 9 seasons with the trailer. But the fact that we saw Mariah in the first 2 seconds of the trailer, that should be telling enough. She felt ganged up on with them mentioning quad at the engagement party. I didn't really understand the fact that she felt ganged up on necessarily. If she felt like it was displaced, if she felt like it was rude, if she felt like it was disrespectful, then I can get down with all that. But I don't really understand when she said that she felt ganged up on necessarily. And she then got emotional saying that she doesn't have any support at home. Simone takes her to the side. And she says, one, if you wanted someone who was very involved in the wedding planning, you should marry a woman. That's what literally Simone said. And then she also says that they're, a tough group, and she got to basically get some thicker skin about her. And also, y'all, during this episode and even on the next episode, why is Dr. Alicia here? Why is she here? Why is she in attendance? This is episode 3. We're now going to episode 4, and she still hasn't even really had a breakout scene. She hasn't really given anything more than saying the words, oh yeah, exactly. We get these quick little clips of her, like, and that's all we're getting here. Whatever. Anyway, to do, and then her dress. I don't know if she was doing that necessarily to. I didn't really get that. She makes it easy for them to. I got. They're gonna take this and run with it. You got to do yourself a once over when you're coming into these circles. You got to be on your A game. Otherwise, they are going to make a moment off of it. And that's literally what she's not getting. Other things. Amongst other things. And then end of that episode, we got the most cringiest scene between Phaedra and Dr. G. And Phaedra is further kind of body shaming her by saying her naturally flat booty, which I'm looking at then too, because I'm like, she shouldn't even be able to say that. You should have gathered her for even saying that about your soon-to-be wife. Like, come on now. Phaedra's bringing up prenups and how she don't trust nobody, and and I'm just thinking I wouldn't trust you for a second. Showing you where her loyalties lie. If she's showing you where they lie, and it's not with you, sweet tea, it's with your man's. So she wouldn't even be like, this wouldn't even happen. This if it was up to me, and that's not me saying that men and women can't be friends, or like I don't allow my husband any female friends or anything. That's not what I'm saying, but we're not just talking about any over. We're talking about Phaedra, and again, her loyalty will lie with him before they lie with. Getting into episode 3, immediately we find out that Toya and Phaedra are going to be throwing Sweet Tea a pamper, I guess their rendition of a bachelorette party. And I was like, not surprised that it was Toya of all people and Phaedra of all people. Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie, they have their little real cute or whatever. And Jackie brings up thing, goes on to say he's kind of like in a bit of a struggle. She brought up needing an assistant, and I'm just like, I don't think you need an assistant. I think that you need to marry that you are getting into a situation expecting a different outcome, but seeing firsthand that that's not the type of partner that you're going to be left with in the end. So you should probably get out of it now. Am I the only one that's seeing this? Like, come on. She also said that they basically come from 2 different generations. When Dr. Simone was Sweet Tea's age, she had the husband, she had the toddler, she was over here, she was at this, like she was doing a lot of things that Sweet Tea doesn't even have to freaking do. So she's not really, she needs all this extra assistance, but they just from 2 different generations. And I was like, I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with asking help when you need help. I do think it's perfectly okay and natural to be overwhelmed at times. For you to need your partner's help kind of goes with being in a relationship, if you ask me. So I don't judge doing those things. You get off the bandwagon is, again, when you see that your partner is, that's not them, and this is going to be something that is going to continue to come. They're not resolving the issue. She's, I guess, waiting for it to kind of resolve itself once they're in the aisle. From somebody who has never seen that strategy work for anybody else, that no, that's just a recipe for just coming from also that got married and certain conversation. Like obviously we talked about, you know, all the major things and stuff like that, but even some minor things that I had not talked about prior to getting married, they come up and you got to resolve them. Like it's not rocket science, y'all. It's really not, especially when the writings were on the wall and you chose to ignore the Yelp reviews. Don't ever think that things are just going to go away or somebody's just going to magically wake up and start acting a certain way just because now they have rings on their finger. It doesn't work like that. She has an end game here. She strikes me as someone who will ignore all the red flags for the sake of securing the bag, but then turn around and cry to women about Dr. G. She's already giving that, and that's why I'm like, and get mad at them for having an opinion or calling it like they see it, i.e. Heavenly. Yes, and that's why I'm not mad at Heavenly, although it's Heavenly, and we're always going to be like, oh my gosh, Heavenly, oh my gosh, why would you say that? Oh my gosh, oh my God. She said exactly what everybody else was thinking. And if there's one thing, it's one thing to not like Quad, but to make her out to seem crazy or like she was lying or whatever, when this girl said in this episode that Quad, and I think that's actually, yeah, that's in the next scene, which we're going right to that right now. Dr. Heavenly and Sweet Tea meet up. I hated her outfit. That was number one. We're gonna need to get those together too. Sweet Tea, still, she's going through it with the wedding. She had to get her freaking wedding planner together. She still ain't getting no assistance from him. Go figure. She had to change a venue at the last minute. She wants to make sure everything is perfect, which I was confused about. Did she mean she wants everything with the wedding to be perfect because she has gone through so much or whatever? Or was she talking about personally in this relationship? It was so hard to get to this point or whatever. Like, that's something else I think is weird too. When people freaking are going crazy to try to get all of these things for this one day and stuff like that. It's giving, I just care about appearances. When you know that all this other stuff is going on behind the scenes, I'll be more concerned about figuring out if we are compatible in all these different areas than I would caring about freaking table settings and stuff. Like, that's, who cares about that if the foundation that we're building this on is going to crumble once the freaking ink dries on the marriage certificate. Like, that's not what. No, I didn't. What is she but like, at the same time though, what does she expect? Does she really expect to come on here and make organic friendships that weren't going to be? And I'm not saying, maybe they did have some genuine moments. Maybe they at the end of this, maybe there is some genuity to these friendships. However, did she really come on here thinking that none of that was going to come into play? Did she really think that they were not going to try to conjure something up between her and Quad, or that it wasn't ever going to be talked about? And again, I get that Quad was not even filming right away with everybody and all that stuff, but did she really just think that she was just going to creep on in and it was just going to be all kumbaya and happy days? Like, that doesn't even sound realistic. Hey, cousin. She probably was referring to both, but in that moment, she may have been talking about the what. Like, it was just weird how she's, I worked so hard to get to this point. Like, what? What do you, to get married? Like, I need you to put some more emphasis on other places in your life. Like, come on now. Heavenly, bring your wigs back up on your head. I'm not understanding why they be sliding back all the time. And Heavenly does give her one piece of advice, which I was like, I mean, I something else I would tell her too, since apparently you need to tell her everything. Like, there's not, she needs to stop taking everything for face value. She needs to, and I'm not saying that because I want to spread skepticism or I want people to have certain fears and stuff about things. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. So y'all don't please take me out of context. However, I need everybody, Sweet Tea included, to not just take everything people say and just take that as law, or take that as facts, or take that as like, oh, they couldn't have any malice behind it. Or yeah, they're like, everyone's being 100% honest all the time. That's what the type of energy she gives me. Is like, she's expecting too much of people that know how to be on this show. Like, come on. Okay, girl, did you have an issue with Cod or not? When you befriend all her friends, of course you're going to run into her. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, why are you, Like, what did you really think was going to happen with you coming? It's okay. With you coming onto this show? Like, I wouldn't even went, because I would have known that this is the type of time the likes of people like Phaedra will be on, and the people like Heavenly that are used to not biting their tongue Of course they're gonna have something to say. Of course there's gonna be something up their sleeve. Like, of course. And the only reason why, I feel like, I'm assuming, going back to Denise's comment up here, I would have loved to catch that live, because I would have been like, who specifically are you talking about? Because if you're talking about like Toya only befriended you for a storyline, I would totally believe that, because who have we seen not seeing it for each other from day one? Toya and Quad. Toya and Quad. Toya and Quad. And we saw that rear its head once again, with Toya at least, during the end of this episode. I don't know, Denise, if they're purposely making her look so, or that's just how she's coming off. Like, for real. Like, I think that's just where we are with it right now, because she's not giving us nothing else to work off of. Like, she's making it really difficult to defend her actions right now. And we are just audience members looking in. And all Toya is doing is using sweet tea to ice Quad out, and it's not working. Like, she seemed really bothered when she came up in there. Simone, Cecil, Michael, and Miles. Michael just recently took a trip to Cabo, aka my favorite place, and he's currently taking classes at Holmes Community College. Miles, on the other hand, is back at Georgia State, but he's still living at home. They've been stressing their parents out, and after Michael graduates, he plans to move back in. But what I've gathered from them is that Simone is wanting to cut the umbilical cord off ASAP, and Cecil, on the other hand, is pretty okay with providing them continued assistance. My thing is, I think that it's just kind of like a case by case thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with providing your children with somewhere to stay or whatever assistance you can spare. If they're trying to do something with their lives, if they're trying to reach the next step or whatever, if they're 18 and they just want to kind of stay at home, or while they're still going to school, or don't want to just jump straight out there, I don't feel like that's a bad thing at all. But at the same time, there does have to kind of be some type of direction that you're trying to move into, and some type of game plan. That's how I feel, at least. That she was in the Air Force and everything, but I think it's her fault too on how the camera portrays her. Wait, you're saying she was in the Air Force, so that means that she should have more of an understanding how to navigate through these types of social circles and these types of situations? She should be more wise? That's what you mean? I mean, at the end of the day, we're not in those people's house. We're not in there 24 hours a day and all that stuff. We can only go off what we see. But I find it super coincidental that a lot of stuff that she's saying is the same stuff that Quad was saying, and it pertains to the same person, and it's only been a couple years, and people tend to just settle into their ways and stay there unless there's an incentive to change. And in his case, the incentive will be just because you want to change because of something. But he doesn't really give me that. He gives me exactly what she said. He expects dinner on the table when you get there. He expects this, he expects that. He has no issue with holding what he does financially for you over your head. Like, that just seems to be consistent with his character. So I'm going to do us both a favor, and I'm going to keep it moving. Otherwise, if you're seeing all this, you say you're not what you got your own money. You don't need them from there for that or anything like that. We're checking off all these things. Okay, then why are we even putting up with this then? Whatever, man. Shit. Let me stop doing that because my throat is like hurting. I'm trying to get through this, y'all. Dr. Heavenly and Alora, another one. They want Alora to stay close to the nest. They want her to go to school at like Spelman versus going to FAMU. And shout out to my cousin. She said in her review that there's about a 6 hour. Obviously, we know there's a lot of neighborhoods. Atlanta's big. I don't know exactly what pocket they are in, of course, but give or take, it's at least like a 6 hour drive. Being as though I'm somebody that joined the military and moved to the entire other coast when I was 19 years old, I see nothing wrong. And I get it. The world is crazy, y'all. Don't sit here and think that I'm the type of person that is like, oh yeah, I don't see anything that's going on in the world. I don't watch the news. I don't do like, no. I obviously know. But again, I'm also aware that sometimes you're going to have to do certain stuff that might be unfavorable for some or whatever. You got to make some type of sacrifices sometimes to get where you want to go. Like you want to allow your kids to still live life. So I'm going to need them to let on up their own reins. And obviously, I do think a part of this was a little bit of dramatized for the sake of the storyline and stuff like that. Because obviously we see, or at least I see, that Alora is doing just fine in her freshman year at FAMU. And I'm sure that they were super supportive. And again, I know it's not an easy thing because even when I told my mom I was joining the military at 19, which I'll do a separate story time. I always tell you guys I'll talk a little bit more about my military experience when I am monetized. But for now, I will say my parents were not super happy when I was leaving to go join the military at 19. Like they were not like, oh my God, yeah, bye. Like, no. So I think that their reaction was very genuine. And they probably really did have those types of feelings. And, you know, she's their last child to leave the nest. She's the only girl. She's baby girl. Like, I totally get it. And her and Heavenly, we've seen their mother-daughter relationship over the years, and which I absolutely love, might I add. So I get that they're not happy to see her go, but I'm glad that it all clearly worked out because she's there, seeming like she's having a great time. And I think it's only like 6 hours or something, which you guys are probably looking at your freaking phones or the screen crazy right now. Like, what you mean? 6 hours is still a lot. Yeah, it is. I get it. Especially for someone who's never been away from their family and stuff like that. It does sound a lot, but I guess since I've been living on a different coast from my family for like the past 10 plus years going on, it just seems like second nature at this point for me. And I encourage people to leave the nest and travel and just freaking learn about different places, go experience different cultures. I encourage people to do that at a young age, to get out of their comfort zone at a young age. It's made me who I am today, and I don't regret it at all. So I'm glad that she did choose to go away, and I wish her nothing but the best. Eugene takes the boys shopping. I'm glad that they're able to have this daddy son bonding time. I'm glad that they're having conversations. I will say that it grossed me out when he like put his saliva on his lips. It literally made me want to gag. I said, after a certain age, there is no changing. Yes, he's set in his ways. There's no incentive for him to change. Why would you? And it's basically giving, why buy the cow if I'm getting the milk for free? And I say that meaning, yeah, he comes home, you got his food ready, you do this, you do that. You're breaking your back, you're freaking stressing yourself out to make sure he's good and got everything or whatever. Meantime, he's not feeding you emotionally. I mean, if he's getting everything he needs, then of course he's probably not looking to freaking fulfill anything with you, because you put him before you put you, and he puts him before he puts you. So come on now, you got to put you before you. You're supposed to be putting you before you, and you're supposed to also be wise enough to see that, I have to like beg him to show me any assistance with this, that, and other thing, like, and I'm still not getting it. Maybe I should keep it moving. I don't know. Light bulb. Last week, I was sort of cringing at having the birds and bees conversation on national TV with the parents. I would have been so embarrassed. Yeah, it definitely, we definitely have to take that into account too. I don't know how we overlook the fact that, yes, this is a serious, big conversation, the talk with your parents on national TV. That's a lot. That's a lot. I hope that it really did seem very organic though. So do you think that gave them like a heads up before that? Do you think that they asked them, are they comfortable? Or you think they just sprung it on them? Like, nonetheless, I think that it was good that they had the conversation though, nonetheless. And that's coming from somebody I don't think I ever even had that conversation with my parents. It was just kind of like a known, quote unquote, unspoken thing. Like it was more of that time period. But I do believe in educating your children before somebody does on the street. I do believe that it shouldn't be like an off limits conversation. You should use actual terms. Like, I'm not saying no, you should freaking go watch freaking stuff with your kids or anything weird. No, that's not what I'm saying, y'all, at all. I'm just saying that there's power in knowledge, and they're able to be more safe if they know, if they're made aware of things. Because again, either life is going to teach them or the wrong person is going to teach them. So it's best that you teach them from the get-go, especially when questions start to be being asked. And because they did ask a couple questions. It was more so geared toward like menstruation and tampons, but they did have questions. So, and it's good to see that they're comfortable enough to actually talk to their parents about it too, which is indicative of the fact that they clearly have a good relationship with their children. They probably asked, and I commend them for having it with them. That was my personal response with my own comfortability. Yeah. Knowing me, I probably would have been like, whatever, I guess. But I definitely think that is like, it's not weird for them to have been like, no, I'd rather not. Like, and I hope these are conversations. Even freaking going back to the other show with like the Giselles and the prom dress, like all these scenes that we get sometimes that are kind of more sensitive and things that you wouldn't normally just put out online or you would share in front of millions of viewers and stuff like that. These are all things that I hope that the parents definitely are constantly checking in with the child and making sure they're good with it and stuff like that, because they're very much thwarted into a public setting just as much as their parents are on these shows. Like, come on now. And other kids can be very, very evil too. I be seeing stuff online and bullying and stuff like that is very, very real and stuff like that. So I know I would hate to, if I was them, I would hate to, be the one to have my child out here being embarrassed or anything like that. So that's good though. Simone Cecil, he's in charge of the men's festivities, which I wasn't surprised about at all. He got them a party bus filled with big booties and blow up dolls and all sorts of feather boas and things, I guess. Meanwhile, Toya and Phaedra are getting things together for the sweet tea ladies event and all that. Why was Phaedra bent over? I wish I would have had pictures. She was like bent over when was it sweet tea or the guy when the guys first came in. She was like bent over in a way that I felt like she just didn't need to be, but whatever. And Heavenly, why does she always have to announce that she is married as soon as she walks through a door, through a threshold? Like, I was like, I don't even know if any of these men are checking for you like that right now, but I mean, she's never going to miss an opportunity to let us know that she is happily married. Okay. Everyone was dressed very sexy. I will say the looks were looking. Heavenly's titties were up to the sky. They all definitely looked the part. Even Dr. Jackie, you know, she's always more classy, very reserved and stuff. She looked very nice in her purple, lavender. And Simone, I was like, oh, okay, Simone, okay. Gosh, I wish I had some pictures, man. But they all came through with the looks. I'm gonna say, I want to do. Okay, I'm thinking of doing a Galentine's Day event this year. I'm really debating it, but I don't know, because I'll also just be getting back from Mardi Gras too. But I really was thinking about it because, one, my husband's not even going to be here this year, or this year being next year, y'all, next Valentine's Day, 2024. I've been thinking about it because I just thought it was really cute. And this is definitely something I would like to do for that. I've always wanted to do some type of like event thing like this, like, ooh, pamper party. And we come in like lingerie and stuff. Oh, I think that would be so cute. I'm going to see if I could get that going because I really want to do that. But anyway, and this whole time we're getting like men over here, women over here, men over here, women over here. And so when they switch back to the men, we're seeing them all kind of toasting up. They're down at Cecil's bar in the basement, joking, drinking, everything's cool. This is also, y'all, and I don't care, I'm gonna just throw it out there, this is also the first time we saw Curtis. Okay, you know, he couldn't miss this. Okay, he couldn't not show up when we had the big booties around and stuff like that. Of course he was going to be in attendance. I might be putting 20 on 10, but I'm never going to miss an opportunity to call him out because you know, some y'all know how some of us feel about Curtis. Anyway, they get on the bus, like I said, big booties, shaking, they having a good old time. I can't lie that I would have been wanting to go to both. Like, I would have been like, can I come over here? Then can I go over there? Like, I would have been want to be both. I'm so annoying. And Sweet Tea finally appears, and she has both Unsweet Tea with her and another friend who turns out to be her maid of honor, we find out. The male help that was over there, they didn't waste no time rubbing him down. I seen feet getting rubbed, shoulders being rubbed, titties at one point getting rubbed, which I thought was kind of like, why, huh? Like, I feel like certain people, certain things, you be trying to give people an inch, they take a mile. Like, so that's why I said in that moment, then I would have bounced back over there with the guys, because why are you touching her boobs? Like, come on. Anyway. And when she said that Gregory is conservative, I was like, what? Because he was the one that was cutting up the most. I mean, and again, it was his bachelor party, so of course he's cutting up the most. He was motorboating. He was he had like three, four of them on him at once. There was like a lot going on. So I was like, okay, conservative is definitely not the adjective I would use to describe him, but we're gonna let you get that off though, sis. We're gonna let you get that off. We literally seeing them having the time of their lives on this bus, but we're just gonna let you live in that land of delusions, okay? Sweetie also lets the ladies know that she hasn't been a bridezilla. The moments where she was, though, were justified. And this, y'all, is where things kind of turned. She gets a call, which we know that when they get calls, they're supposed to put them on speaker and all that. So she gets a call. I do feel like the timing was a little weird, but whatever. From her wedding planner, who lets her know that there's been a change. The change in the venue is going to cost them at least $13,000 to $14,000 extra. And this is already after she's been getting pretty much the price tag has been being held and waved over her head by Dr. G. And she's already been on the cusp of losing it for the past like week. Okay. And this is when the bow breaks and she completely loses it. And basically it was kind of like Unsweet Tea was a little bit of the catalyst unknowingly, because she tried to take her phone and she's like, she just goes berserk pretty much. And if that was truly how she felt in that moment, then that's what it was. However, it just also seems like these are the moments, y'all, where sometimes we need to actually read the writing on the wall and know that, sometimes when we try to force things, it's a sign that we shouldn't be trying to force things. Okay. It's a sign that we should probably redirect our route of travel, because something in the universe is not wanting this to go that way. And I feel like this was kind of indicative of that. And by no means, y'all, these people could be married for the next 30 years, 40 years, however many years. They could be married for all of this time. However, being as though we see so many cracks already, would it be so far-fetched for me to say that she should have, I don't know, not been so in a rush to do this? Felt him out a little bit more. How did they say in the first episodes or whatever how long they've been together? I can't remember, like, first seeing it on social media and all that. So y'all please let me know, what is the time frame of them at this point? How long have they been together? Like, what was the... And this is coming from somebody who got married at a young age, who got married a bit faster due to different reasons. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys a whole rundown of all of my military life and all that stuff when I'm monetized. But this is coming from somebody who knows that there's certain conversations, there's certain things that need to be hashed out. It's not a rush. Okay, it's not a rush for you to get married. A few months, I think 6 months, don't quote me. I want to say 6 months too for some reason. Like, it wasn't like we seen those pictures, I think like on Simone's page or something, or that got reposted to blogs or whatever. And then before I knew it, like, they had already been engaged by that point, and then boom, they're doing all this. What I will say though too is that a lot of this stuff, it better be for the show, because if that was really your engagement party, this is really your bachelorette party and all that stuff, like, it better not be, because then again, that's another reason to low-key kind of clown you, because, girl, this is supposed to be so magical, once in a lifetime, like, love of your life and stuff like that. And by no means am I saying that we haven't seen everybody and their mother get married or have serious events happen on screen, because we have, y'all. But in this case, just seeing as how most of these things have kind of went sideways for her, these supposed to be once in a lifetime events, I'm hoping that it was just for the show, because ain't no way it could be me. Toya is kind of funny though, I can't even lie, when she said this is an intermission once she loses it, because she lost it, went to the back, she's all up in arms. Like I said, she screamed on the sister. So then half of them were like with the sister, and then the other half of them are trying to console her. It was a lot going on. It was a lot going on. The guys, though, they are still lit. They finally had reached the club. Big Booties is shaking the building. The rules for the stripper party are don't touch. I know my husband knows better. Dr. Jackie. That's Dr. Jackie to Curtis. Okay, so I had to write that down because, like I said before, a lot of us don't even be seeing it for Curtis a lot. So I felt like when Dr. Jackie said that, I need her not to say those types of things. You know, it was kind of giving us those same feelings of like when like Kirk and Rashida be like talking about their marriage stuff or trying to give advice or just saying anything about anything between them. And we just be like giving that look like, I know you ain't talking. That's the kind of look that I got in this freaking scene, because I'm like, Dr. Jackie, now you know that Curtis has proven to be untrustworthy in the past, but you know what? Whatever. And see, if I was with the men too, I also probably couldn't hang with Dr. G either, because why is you inviting random people to the wedding? Like what? Like random? It was. See, I'm like, you are the type of person to do too much when you get some liquor in your system. I can't be around people like that. No. Twitter is saying 6 months dating since those married, so they've only been together 1 year. So, oh, really? Okay. See, I'm just saying. And again, this is coming from somebody I've seen people be together for like a week and then be married for 50, 60, a whole bunch of years. However, in this case, being as though that we are seeing all of these issues on the forefront, I can only think that that it might not be long lasting. Moving along though, Sweet Tea finally calmed down after a bit, I should say, and she does apologize to Unsweet Tea before rejoining the party. And Dr. Heavenly says exactly what I'm basically saying right now, which is, I think this marriage was rushed. She says this in front of the maid of honor, though, and she didn't even say anything, which I'm like, see, you couldn't be my maid of honor, because I'm going to need you to be checking people left and right. Like, if I don't hear something, I'm going to need you to check them. Like, how are you going to let somebody talk about the bride like that? Weird. And Phaedra, she plays her part so well, y'all. And this is why I understand to a degree why people always want her on these shows, because she knew exactly what to say without making it seem like she was being messy at all. What do you know that we don't know? That's what Phaedra said to Dr. Heavenly in this moment. Very, very, very underlying, give me the tea bitch ish of her. And then all of a sudden, Phaedra receives a text saying, I'm outside. So she scurries away to, get the door. And who other than Miss Quad is in the building? And I was like, oh, it's about to get. Yeah, I thought this scene was really going to give. And the way that they got our hopes up, I'm pretty sure y'all could probably agree that the way they did this, it made it seem like she being Sweet Tea was going to be storming off as Quad came through or whatever. I thought that that's what was going to happen, but it didn't. So I kind of don't really appreciate production doing that like that, but whatever. The way they cut these scenes. Phaedra. When Quad gets around the corner or whatever, Heavenly, like, she immediately starts laughing and she jumps up to hug Quad. And is it just me, or does her laugh sound like Bellatrix Lestrange? If you guys watch Harry Potter, then you already know what I'm talking about. She has such a Bellatrix Lestrange laugh about her. I'm like, oh my goodness, Heavenly. That's your friend now? Toya didn't waste no time. You better know that maid of honor reported back to Sweet Tea, which is why we're going to get the scene at the wedding next week. Yeah, I'm hoping so, but I would have checked her right then on the spot, is what I'm saying. Like, maybe I'm too weird. I think that's why I'm not on these shows. that because I ain't get as much money as them, but I will be ready at a moment's notice. I'll be ready to check anybody right then and there. Like I will forget, oh, oops. I'll be ready to go at any given moment with them. Yeah, Toya didn't waste not 1 second though, y'all. Toya was immediately pissed that Quad has now joined the party. And Quad reveals that she was invited by none other than Phaedra. And that's again why I said, sweetie, you do not need to be trusting anybody like Phaedra because she clearly is not on your team. I don't know whose team she is on other than Phaedra's team. Phaedra is on Phaedra's team at the end of the day because she goes ahead to try to justify this whole thing by saying, well, everybody wanted to know where Quad is, and if they want to, talk about her, I wanted them to remember how much a fun girl and good friend she is. What does that have to do with any? Oh, she just makes you want to just shake her by the shoulders, doesn't she? Like, because what does that have to do with anything? I don't believe that. You were being messy. Like, you were being messy. Come on. You can't tell me no different. There was no need for her to ask Quad to come there. If she really prioritized her budding friendship with Sweet Tea, there was no need for her to invite Quad. From a viewer standpoint, was I happy to see Quad though? Yes, I was. But from a Sweet Tea perspective, I would have been I probably would have hooked off and punched Phaedra. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. I probably would just lost it. Like, what? You did what? That would have been really, really bad. Quad does bring her some really, really nice Joe Malone gifts. And I was like, ooh, that was very nice because I didn't really see anybody else bring any gifts, but whatever. And they share a pretty strong hug for two people that have never met and being as though she's about to marry her ex-husband and, given the situation, they share a really, really strong hug. And it was only interrupted by Toya, who is like, girl, how are you so chummy with somebody all of a sudden, and that same person is the person who you didn't want us to say their name last week? Like, how are you guys so chummy? You asking her to come sit next to you and stuff like this, like just a week ago. Like, what is going on? Like, and this is when we find out again that Toya still is never gonna see it for Quad. And every chance she gets, she's going to continue to try to ice her out. Sweet Tea, though, she changes up just that fast to be like, oh, well, I don't really think that it wasn't really cool for you to bring up her name at the engagement party. And I'm just like, the engagement party and the bachelorette party are two different parties. Like, yes, they're two different parties, but they're not as at the same level of importance, meaning no exes allowed or no, like, what? I didn't understand her rationalization for that. And it kind of just seems like she's just gonna go and say and do what she wants at the end of the day. But also part of me was also thinking, oh, she just got called out because it was starting to show that she really don't want to be with this man. Because I'm still not off of that line of thinking either, y'all, where it's like she doesn't really want him, that there might be some type of ulterior motive or whatever that is. I kind of think that too still. And I say that in moments like this where it was just like, okay, it was cool. You was hugging. It was fine 2 seconds ago until Toya called you out for basically being fake. And then now all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, you shouldn't be here. You got to go. It was almost like, oh crap. I forgot I was supposed to hate her. Oops. Like, let me put my freaking mask back on. That's kind of what it was giving to me. That ain't nothing but Toya putting a battery in her back regarding Quad. Quad had already expressed to Sweetie that she has no animosity or ill will towards her. Yes, I forgot to say that. She told her that she doesn't have any issues. Like it was all good for a millisecond until Toya came in to then basically be like, okay, did you forget that you're supposed to hate her? Like, girl, what you doing? And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, I forgot. That's what we're here for. That's what I was gathering to, Harold. So then, yeah, after being prompted, Quad leaves. And again, we're gonna definitely get into some more stuff next week. I'm excited for next week's episode. And again, my last note was, why is Dr. Alicia here again? I don't know. She don't say nothing. She ain't really added nothing, so I don't understand why she's here. But whatever, it's already been filmed. We can't do anything about it. But yeah, y'all made me think about a couple things in these comments, and I'm excited to see next week. And we're gonna come back here and we're gonna talk about it again next week. Because it's about to get turned up a notch, if you ask me. And everybody, I will say, it seems like everybody for the most part is clocked in though. And you know, as viewers, we love to see that. We love to see people come to work, you know. And that's more we could say about some other people on some other shows. But I enjoyed y'all. I hope you enjoyed me. Y'all, if you have not liked the video already, please make sure you like it on your way out. And don't forget, if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscription button, turn on your post notifications. Also, if you're not following my second channel too, where I showcase all my fashion, beauty, lifestyle, etc. content, make sure you follow me over there, Barb Meets FBLE. But again, I enjoyed y'all. I'm gonna go rest my voice, like I told you guys before. I'm not feeling that great. But I appreciate you guys for coming through. Thank you for joining us, Denise. Thank you for joining the channel. I really, really appreciate you. Harold, my love, thank you so much for coming through and supporting the channel. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all your comments. And yes, you will see me next week. I'm gonna be on screen too. You guys have my word. I'll be on screen. But until then, y'all, again, shout outs to the replay gang. Check out the live with Sweet Tea talking about the ladies. Is it on her Instagram or I could or somebody might have reposted it or something. I'm gonna dig around and find it. Thank you so much for letting me know about that. But until next time, y'all, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.